Yay. All right. Let's connect to Facebook. So I don't know if you're aware of this, but I had to learn the hard lesson last time. But if you do not have the app downloaded on your Facebook group settings, so you'll go to settings, advanced settings at the bottom, and you have to add the app for Zoom. You cannot live stream to your group. So that was the mistake I made last week. Fixed it this week. We're going to try again and hopefully things go better. It is January 14th. We'll go ahead and put the date. And we are going to share this to a group, which is Brick by Brick at the Point. So that's my local market here. We are 20 minutes south of Salt Lake. We're right on the border of two major counties for the state, Utah County, and Salt Lake County. So we're right there on the border. So we're going to go ahead and go live. Okay, I did it. It's working now. Okay, I'm going to take our meeting and participants. We're going to grab, there it is, our link. And then I will pull up the live feed. Yay, which is on our feed. And I say, come join the action here. And we'll go ahead and put the link. And then if you have, I guess I could share my screen. That's good, let me see that. If you have questions, please let me know. All right. So last week was my first week doing this, and I was so nervous, and I couldn't get Zoom to work, and I had two people from the community join, and so I'm like, oh great, I'm gonna have this awkward one-on-one conversation, and I'm trying to like do stats, which I've done 1,000 times, but publicly and on a new, what do you call it, format, I guess, because I wanted to make it look all pretty through Canva or whatnot. And this week, I'm like, oh, yay, someone joining again. So this week, I'm just kind of like letting all my walls down in the sense of, okay, it's not going to be perfect. And I also was like, okay, I've got to get all of the stats and I've got to do it quickly because no one's going to want to sit around for like an hour. And now I'm like, no, I'm just going to go through the statistics. And whoever wants to stick around and join me is welcome to do so. If you want to pop in and out, that's fine. If you don't want to watch, I will post all of the updated stats in the comments so you can just view them there. But I'm hoping that this is valuable. I'm hoping this is something that we can grow. So you can see Alex has joined us here. If anyone wants to join live, come on in. If you're able to, take off or put on your camera, unmute your mic, and feel free to jump in the action and in conversation. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And last time I recorded our meeting because I wanted to stream it live after, but I didn't realize this until after the fact. But so Utah's a private state, so we can't disclose sale information. On the back end, I have access to it, and I was publicly displaying it last time. So I'm like, okay, I need to pull that off. So learned a lot of good lessons. We'll see how things go today. Anybody have fun plans for the weekend? I know I am doing nothing, and I am extremely excited about that. Okay, I'm stopping my screen share for a second because I want to make sure I have the right screen up. I've got two different ones, and sometimes I'm broadcasting the wrong one. So we're going to guarantee, okay, we got it. So what you're looking at here is, this is utahrealestate.com. This is our local MLS for Utah. I'm going to go ahead and sign in. So real estate agents have back-end access to this. So that incorporates a lot of different things. I'm not going to get into the weeds, but being able to jump in here, we're going to be able to see all the statistics. And then I'm going to go ahead and open a Google Drive, and we're going to pull up an Excel spreadsheet because it's a lot easier to like organize and crunch the numbers from a spreadsheet than it is in my mind. So let me pull that up. Oh, there's my text thread. Here we go. Okay, let's organize some windows. We've got our live stream here. We're gonna pull it over. If you have comments, I should be able to see them here. So we're gonna squish that on that side. We've got our stats. Let's go ahead. And this is pulling all of the information from last week. So a week from today, last Friday, I pulled all of the stats. And so what's loading here are those. And then, so this is it here. We also have this guy. So taking a look at last week, what we talked about statistically what's on the market. So we have 55% last week of what was available. We're either under contract and backup. We talked about what backup status means. We had 9 properties that had sold. We had 3 properties that were active, and then 1 which had expired. So we had pulled these stats on January 6th. That was the night before. So today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just duplicate this page. Dun, dun, dun. And we are going to go week 2. And we are starting on January 14th. So we're going to go 30 days back from today. So we're going to lose a week of information and we're going to gain a week of information according from our snapshot last time. And as far as how many homes will be on the market, we'll figure that out together. We'll talk about what's new, what's old, different changes. If you have questions, let me know. So I'm just going to take this spreadsheet tab and add a new sheet so we can start from a clean slate. This Facebook and Zoom, I don't need anymore. Okay, I think I've got all of the pieces. Let's go ahead and pull this tab out and we will make a spot for it here. And then we've got our MLS. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a full residential search. So this is going to tell me all of the residential listings that are available in the state of Utah. So as of right now, in this moment of time, filtering nothing, there's 2,075 homes for the entire state. Now there are other MLSs. So like down in St. George or Park City, different areas, which those aren't going to list. But on the Utah real estate, so on this main MLS listing for the state of Utah, there's only 2,075 homes. That's not a lot. And we are going to zone in right in at the point. So this is the community that I'm in. I'm going to go ahead and back up a little bit. I'm going to get my fun pointer tool and I want everything within my market. So Bangerter Highway, if you're local to Utah, you know, is a main separating highway, same with I-15. So I'm going to come down here from I-15. I'm going to jump over to Redwood. I'm going to come up to Bangerter and enclose my circle right here. Okay, so this is at the point right now, and we're looking at 10 listings total. So you'll notice that all of these circles are green because we're talking about active listings. So I'm going to go ahead and squish this guy over. We have right here active. So we had 3 active last week, and now we have 10, right? So I'm on my second screen. Let's just go ahead and update the numbers as I scroll everywhere. It is so slow. I'm like trying to like itch my way out. There we go. Okay, so we have 10. We don't know how many it's out of yet because this is only pulling active. So I'm going to go ahead and let's see. It looks like I need to make this a little bit bigger. I'm going to hide my map, which is going to show me the back end. So right now we are looking at homes that are active and we want all the things. So I'm going to go ahead and add backup, under contract, sold, off market, withdrawn, canceled, expired. If you have any questions on what these terms mean, go ahead and throw it in the comments or join with the link and come tell me and I'm more than happy to explain them. So we're going to select those items. Now this may be deceiving because now it's showing 535. It's because the date range is here. So we're going to go back 30 days from today, which gives us 28 homes. So between last week and this week, we've had 1 less home to evaluate as a whole. And if we come over here and view our results, this is going to tell us exactly what it looks like. Now I'm going to hurry and hit my column display before I get in trouble. I'm going to grab sold and pull it off. So I have access to sold information. All of the stats that we're going to be running is based off of what a home is listed for, list price. That's what's publicly displayed. Now, at the very end, I'm going to pull my screen over and I'll give you guys an idea of what homes are actually selling for. Why that's important to know the distinction for is because just because a home is listed for this amount does not mean that it's sold for that amount or that it's under contract for that amount. So if we're looking at this page here, this is the MLS ID. So this is the ID number that you would search to find or view the property history. This is a photo of the home. This is the status. So we have A for active. So I'm going to go ahead and filter by the status. So that way we get them all in one place. So we have A for active, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4 active listings. So last time when we looked at this, we had, I already updated it. Okay, I'm going to explain this. I'm getting too far ahead. So we're out of 28 homes. These are all of them listed. So my active listing was probably pulling my Bs, which is your backup status, and active. So I'm separating them out for these statistically so you can see kind of each one isolated. So in all reality, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 active homes on the market in this at this time right now. And then in this one here, we have the style. So we'll switch to home types after, but let's go ahead and wrap up our statuses. So we got 4 active, and then we're going to go over here to UC. So UC means that it's under contract, which means someone has submitted an offer, the seller has accepted it, and unless if the buyer or seller cancel that contract, it will go to a successful closing, which is the goal, and then it will become sold. So right now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we've got 11 homes that are under contract. So you see we're having quite a few changes. 11 under contract, shifting over here. Withdrawn. Withdrawn is that W. We still have 1, which means it was put onto the MLS and then it was taken off. So it's no longer actively being sold through this platform. So we've got 1 of those. We have 2 in backup status, so that hasn't changed there. Backup status means that they've accepted a contract and they're looking for backup offers. And then lastly, we have our S, which is sold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We have 10 sold properties. Okay, so this is kind of a quick snapshot of our area. So now we're just going to do some quick math so we can see percentages, because that's easy to digest, right? So we've got our handy dandy calculator here. I'm adding this both under contract and backup status as 1. So here we're going to have 13 homes out of the 28 that are on the market, gives us 46%. So I'm going to keep this number, and then I'm going to go ahead and just put it below. So that way we can see the difference. I guess you could scroll and toggle, but for now we're going to put it here. So we got 46%. If anyone wants to be an angel and do the math for me between these two and post it, that would be fantastic. If not, you're on your own. We're about 10% decrease for what's actively under contract, right? So sold, we've got 10 out of 28. So that's going to put us at 35%. So 4% more since last week have sold, right? So we're going to put that at 35. Should I round up 36? Maybe it's not perfect, but we're close. Active market, we're at 4. So 4 divided by 28, we are at 14. So we're going up. Go ahead and pull this guy down. 14. And then withdrawn, we're going to stay right there at that 3%. So this is our snapshot. We've got 28 homes on the market. We have slightly changed, not a ton. I mean, we're only 1 week away, but there has been changes. So what's important to kind of keep a pulse on is as these numbers fluctuate, there's different numbers that we'll pay more attention to. So one of those columns is days on market, which is right here, DOM. So I'm going to go ahead and filter. And so when a house hits the MLS, there's like an imaginary counter that starts happening from that day moving forward. Why do we care? Why is that important to know? Well, knowing how quickly homes are going under market is going to get, or under contract is going to give you an idea of, if you're thinking to sell, how many days it's probably going to take for your home to go under contract. And if your house is sitting on the market above or below that average, what does that mean? If you sold your home in half of the time, does that mean that you potentially sold it for less? If you are still on the market and you're tripling the time of that average time span, does that mean that you're overpriced? Every home has a unique story. There's not like a one shoe size fits all, but knowing the generals kind of helps you look in the rear view mirror to make the best decisions moving forward. So as of right now, new, which means right now we have these new listings. So we have a new townhouse. If you are on the Facebook group, I am posting every single new listing that hits our area. So we have this new townhome. It's at 550. It just barely hit the market. We've got another townhome. So these ones you'll see are mid row. So these are middle units. These are 0. So if in the past 48 hours, we have another one here. This is under construction. If we come down, we can see that this is Woodside Homes. So that one is now available. I'm actually working with Woodside. They have 5 different opportunities that just came up. I know with a client about 4 months ago, we were looking at these options, and only 3% of the entire Utah market had townhomes with open from floor to below. That's a very popular style. Right now, there are 5 options, which is insane, because we had gone 4 to 6 months with 0 options. Well, 1. So that's a definite uptick and opportunity there. So if you're looking for townhomes, there's a new construction option there. We have another one here. This one, 0 days, 450. So you can see both of these homes are listed, all of these, for close to the same price, right? This one here is an existing home, and it was built in 2015. This one just hit the market, and then we can kind of go down the line. So these ones are 1 day old. This one here under contract. So I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, okay, 450 under contract, townhome, mid unit. Looking at it, you can look at the pictures, you can look at the inside, see the differences, but kind of drawing similarities kind of helps you paint out a picture. This one here under contract, again, 465. So we're about $15,000 over, but just because it's listed for this price does not mean that it's sold for that price. Same with these ones that are sold. Just because this was listed at 404 and it's now sold, I can be able to look up and tell you exactly what it actually sold for, whether it was higher or lower. But it was on the market for 5 days before it went under contract. So fairly quick, could have been aggressive. If there was a bidding war, that could have gone up, all of those things. So that is going to conclude kind of our market stats as far as what we're looking at in our market. So coming down here to home types, let's see what has changed. And also, you guys, all of this, I literally made up. These are the statistics that I like to look at. But if you're like, you know what, Tanisha, we really don't care how many townhomes are for sale in our area versus single family. We would really like to know something else. Tell me what that something else is, because I'm more than happy to switch this out. I want this to be relevant. I want it to be beneficial. And so if there's something that you're seeing that isn't meeting those needs, tell me and I will change it. But for now, we're going to go ahead and we're going to filter this column by our style. So right now, within these different home types, let's go ahead and update our stats. So we have 28 homes. We are pulling from January 14th, and we are looking at week 2. So I'm really excited by week 4 to be able to kind of like stack all of these and look at things from a monthly perspective. So until now, I've been posting stats every month. And so I'm interested to see how these micro changes and being so aware of them impact versus the monthly, because this is happening for me every single day. I am in these numbers all the time. But publicly, this is the first time that I'm kind of inviting everyone in to see it on these Fridays. So we are going to come over here. We have 2-story homes. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 2-story homes. We had 9 last time. That's a big deal. That's a big change. So I'm going to go ahead and switch this out, and we're going to change it to 6, right? 2, 4, 6. Awesome. Okay. By level. So what a split entry is, for those of you who don't know, it's when you come into a landing and you split, and you either go upstairs or downstairs. We've got one of those that hasn't changed. We have houses, townhomes, and row units. So this is where my spreadsheet comes in handy. So we're going to jump over there. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this information. We're going to paste it over here. I'm going to replace my screen on these numbers. And then we'll go ahead and where's data? Data, create a filter. All right, beautiful. So we're going to come back over here. We should still be filtered the same. But what's nice about this is I can come in here to end row, and it gives me a count right here. So I have to count them all. 6 isn't a big number to get to, but I don't want to keep doing that. So we have end row townhomes. We've got 6 of those. So we're going to go ahead and update this. We have middle row. And the reason why I like to separate these is because statistically, end row units will sell for sometimes $10,000 to $15,000 more than a middle unit. Why is that? Handful of reasons. 1, you have more privacy. You're only sharing the wall with one other person. 2, you usually have more windows because you have exposure to the outside of your house, whereas a middle unit, you don't have that exposure to those sides. There's a handful of other reasons as well, but it's good to separate your numbers. If you're an end row versus a middle row, you need to keep in mind that there are going to be discrepancies. If you look at the numbers here, sometimes you'll see it translate in list price, sometimes you won't. Being in the market where we're at, where we're in a housing deficit, which means there's not enough homes that meet the need of demand. Luxury of being in the middle versus the end is sometimes sacrificed, and you're seeing that paying the same price because you're at the highest and best. But for our middle row units right now, we have 15 units. So we've gone up 1 there. And are those all of our numbers? Rambler, did we lose our Rambler? The Rambler is gone. So we have no Ramblers this time. So I'm gonna go ahead and change this one to 0. And I can do the percentage there real quick, 0. Okay, so while I'm getting out my calculator, I'm gonna tell you why you should care about what's on the market. So first of all, we'll go one thing at a time. 15 divided by 28, right? 53%. If you are a middle row townhome and you're thinking about selling, you're gonna wanna know how many other homes are currently options for someone to purchase, because that is either competition for you or motivation for you. And the reason why I say motivation is, let's say you have a townhome. Let me do the next number. 6 divided by 28 equals, okay, 21. Let's say you had a townhome next door that listed and had a ton of offers, a lot of interest, and they went under contract same day, within 3 days. All of that is kind of like the same pocket of time. Okay, now suspenseful wait. No, we don't, because it's same 21. Okay, so what that would mean for you is, let's say there were 5 offers on the table. As you are getting ready to list your house, there are 4 people who did not get accepted, because out of those 5, only 1 went under contract, that are looking to buy your exact unit, right? Because that was your next door neighbor. We've got 2 in the middle. So that is an opportunity for you. For me, whenever I'm getting ready to do a listing, I'm always calling the listing agent. I'm asking, how many offers did you have? What has been your walkthrough rate? Did you hold an open house? What has been your feedback? You need as much information as possible, because if that agent comes in and says, hey, we don't have any offers, we haven't had any foot traffic, the traffic that we have had, the feedback is that the price point is too high, or maybe they have like a cat or an animal or something that's unique to their property, I can then take that information and know how to apply it to our situation to help benefit my client. So knowing what else is out there is going to impact your numbers and options. So we'll go ahead, and I do need to redo our 1. I didn't do it on the first because we're going 1 out of divide, not minus, 28 homes instead of 29 homes. It's still 0.03. The small numbers are past that, so we're not going to worry about it. So this snapshot right now, we've got 21 townhomes in general. which makes up of 50, 60, 70% of our market. So almost all of it, the 30% that's left is going to be our single family. The majority of those single family are 2-story. So another thing that you're going to want to care about is if you're the only Rambler. So Ramblers have unique benefits, right? You have 1-story living, they're a very popular floor plan. So if you were here in this percentage, that's going to give you an advantage, because out of 100% of just looking at single family homes, you are going to be in the minority of that, right? Where most are going to be in 2-story. So knowing what else is out there, knowing their stories is going to help impact you and what that looks like moving forward. Okay, jumping down to home values. This is what everybody wants to know about, right? And then I'll give you that sneak peek down here of what things have sold for. So actually, before I do that, because I want to do all the numbers at once, let's go ahead and talk about days on market. I think I shifted that up. 1, 2, yes, I did. Okay, so let's duplicate this one and then we'll come over. We are, again, week 2 in January. We are talking about 28 homes that are available, and today is the 14th. You guys are going to know what day it is by the end of this. Okay, so here, days on market. Why is this important? I mentioned it a little bit earlier. Let's go ahead and filter here. How many days on market matters? So these ones here is the amount of time it was on the market before it went under contract. But you can notice that the statuses are all kind of jumbled up because we're filtering here. So even though this one here, let me pull this one up for an example. Oh, I'm not on my MLS anymore. Here we go. Under contract, we'll pull this guy. So you'll notice right here, days on market, these numbers are different. So this means that this home has been on the market from when it was listed. So its entry date of coming to the MLS for 59 days. It sat on the MLS for 31 days before it went under contract. So that's what number we're looking at right now, is how many days was it on the market before it went under contract. So again, our minimum here, let's go back to my spreadsheet. There we are. Okay, so our minimum is 0 still. And if we come down to our max, oh, that new guy is still 0. If we come on to our max, we're still at 84, so that's going to stay the same. And then this one at 54, I put it in parentheses as its own. Could come in. I have my mom like staring at me through the glass, and I'm just like, I can't concentrate.
I'm
like,
sorry.
Join the party. If you want to
Sure.
grab a seat, come grab a seat.
5 more minutes or?
We're
less.
probably like 10 minutes away. Okay. So I like to separate this number here because sometimes there's an outlier. So if I pull up this guy, let's filter here. So I'm on the same page. Days on market, we're filtering. We're going to come down here. So under contract here, this is under construction. So sometimes under construction is what I would like to identify as my outlier, because it's going to sit on the market for the entire time it's being constructed. And so if you have an existing home, under contract numbers might not apply, and it's going to skew your numbers a little bit. So with existing homes here, we have 63. It's this home that's in backup status. And that is this number that I'm putting here. So this is going up at 63. So again, this is an extreme. This is not an average. And I am clicking magical buttons. There we go. So 63, 84 are the maximum days on market that exists. We're minimum at 0. So what's our average? So if I come back to our spreadsheet here, and I'm going to put in an equation that says equal, I want the average of these numbers, and I'm just pulling everything here. And that is going to give us 21 days. So let's go ahead and update that to 21. With this one at 8, what I'll do is I'll pull out my extremes and I'll rerun my numbers. So if I have this and I want to take off this extreme here at 84, I'm going to change my spread to 29. So now you can see that one's no longer included. Zeros and ones in our market are still normal. So I would not consider that an extreme. With this one here, it's not a new construction home. It's an existing house. It's in backup. We also have 2 here that are under contract that are right around that 60 to 63 mark. So I would not consider those outliers either. So averaging these guys, we're at 18. So I'm going to go ahead and update this, to 178. Perfect. 18. Average square footage. What was I doing here? Oh, this is townhomes and this is single family. And I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. Okay, so let's go ahead and break out those numbers. So this is an overall for everything. Now forget it because I'm going to switch gears to splitting up the information. So I'm going to go ahead and sort by my style. These ones here are my single family from here up. I'm going to make sure that there's none hiding at the bottom. There is not. We're going to pull our average. And on this side, I want from my split level up. There we are. I was looking at that 8 and I'm like, how did I get 8 before? That makes no sense. So according to the average for everyone, if we're looking at just the average for townhomes, 26 is going to be there. And I don't think I have outliers in my townhomes. Nope, those all look great. So doing the same thing, we're going to go to our pull for all of our townhomes, which is from this guy down. There we are. I'm going to keep off new because my calculation won't like that. It's going to be 0. So these numbers aren't perfect. Actually, we can do that. Let's just change this to 0 so we can include it in our average. And we'll take that guy off. And we're going to filter from here. We've got our 84 in there. And we're at 18. So it's gone down. So as our days on market go down, it means that homes are going under contract quicker. That, in my opinion, would be anticipated. We're coming closer into a new year. Obviously, it's January 14th now. But as we get out of winter season, I would imagine this going down. Let's go ahead and pull out our outlier here. So I'm going to take this and pull it up so that way it's within my range. And then I'm going to pull off that 94, not 94, 84. Okay, we're at 15. And then I'm going to keep off the 8. We're just going to stick with 15 here. Okay, so this is days on market. This is why this is important. If I have a new listing and we're posting it, and let's say we're a townhome and we're a week on the market, my client more than likely, without setting proper expectations, is going to be panicking and wanting to potentially price drop. But if you know your numbers and know on average with those, and again, you're going to dig deeper, right? Because I want to know these higher days on market numbers. Are they getting under contract for a higher or lower amount than the ones that are going under contract here? So we're at 553, 569, right? So 54, let's just say 470 here. You were on market for this long. This one's under contract and sold in 0, and you're at 550. So I think 60, 70, 20 grand. Is it worth 20 grand to wait 2 months? Are you capable of waiting that long? Does that align with your priorities? Maybe what does it look like at 10? So this one here was 10 days on market and it's 5,000 under. So again, there's not a blanket approach for each home, but diving into the numbers, talking to the other agents, figuring out what each unique story is, you're able to conclude different facts that are going to impact your choices. But at the end of the day, what my conversation is going into that is saying, hey, based off of the market right now, I would anticipate us wanting to be at this price point to need to be on the market at this time. So instead of having an emotional roller coaster and panic attacks and just freaking out because you hear all these rumors that the market is so great and homes are selling off like hotcakes, because we're in a housing deficit, which all of these things are true. You have your unique home and your unique situation. So knowing the numbers around it is going to help give you that peace of mind. So that's everything for days on market. Now I've strung you through long enough. Here we are. Week 2, talking about home values. How many of you think that these numbers are going up or down? How do you think they are going to be affected? We are going to find out. And today is the 14th. Dun, dun, dun. OCD, gotta pull the box out. Okay, fantastic. Okay, so now we're getting into the nitty gritty of our numbers. So let's come, let me get like my bearings. I'm switching between too many screens. I am looking for this list price number right here. I'm gonna go ahead and just add a space. So that way I can, oops, I'm gonna put it up here. Nope. Trying to separate my homes. Yep, okay, there we go. So now we got single family up top, townhomes on bottom. Let's give a little bit more space here. And we will insert above. Okay, number 1, single family. Okay, this is very, very important. So some people will look at these numbers for single family as a whole. Do not do that. All homes are not created equal, especially when it comes to their size. Think about it. If you were to take these homes right here and these homes, both of them, and combine them together, what's going to be your average? You're going to be around what, like 750, 800? Even so, that's not accurate for almost anyone, right? It's way too high for this group and it's way too low for this group. So you need to be able to compare apples to apples. Using square footage is one of the metrics that we can do to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and add a filter. Will this let me double filter? I don't know. We're going to find out. No, it won't let me. Okay, so we're going to pull these guys, all of our townhomes, in this painfully slow scroll. We're going to come over here to a new sheet. Let's delete off the old information, out with the old, in with the new, right? Dun, dun, dun. There we are. Okay, now we can filter. So I'm going to come over here to square feet, and we are going to filter by square footage. And these are all of our townhomes. Okay, it is slow but happening. Let me make sure I've got, I'm gonna remove my filter and put it back on. I'm on a new sheet and I want to make sure it's grabbing them all. All right, there we go. There it is, there it is. Square foot, sort. So I'm doing the same thing for townhomes. So you'll notice here, the discrepancy between townhomes is smaller, but it's still pretty significant, right? So let's talk about townhomes first because we're already here. We are going to delete this stuff because it is getting in my way. All right, so square footage here. These homes from here up are within this bracket. So I'm gonna give myself a little bit of space. There it is. And we are gonna pull our cost per square foot. So this is taking the price that the home was listed at, dividing it by the total square feet that are in the home, which is going to give us an approximate price per square foot. So we are going to take this number here and we're going to find what our average is. That is my alarm to pick up my kid. We've got 20 minutes and then I have to leave. So we're going to go ahead and average these numbers and we're at 241. So not a huge change, but it's going up. That's an extra $1. And you're like, okay, big whoop, $1. Well, what's $1 times 1,996 square feet? I mean, that's a decent amount. I'll take that. If anyone wants to just cut me a check for that amount and say big whoop, I would be more than happy to accept. So there we are on there. Let's go ahead and look at the bigger homes of our townhome market and see what that looks like. So if we take our average, and we're going to pull from here up. Dun, dun, dun. And again, if I were to do these numbers privately, I would not use list data. I would not at all. I would use under contract and what it sold for. But so I don't lose my license, we are going to stay here with what is publicly available with the list price, and we're at $195. So again, $2 up here. Go ahead and update that one to 5. Okay, so this is our price per square foot. Now we're going to come over here to our total. So if I take this little guy and we do this voodoo magic, bum, 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 it's going to get that number for us. So you're like, what the heck, Tamesia? Numbers have gone down, but our average price per square foot has gone up. These are pulling averages of everything. So if I'm looking at this range here, we're going up from like 500. Where's our highest price point here? 5, right at 500. Someone under contract, it's under contract. And then our lowest number is 4 what? 450, 448, 445. There we go. So we're within, I mean, pretty close, 5 grand, 50 grand. So as an average, I can speak English sometimes. We're going down here. So we're at 466, 790. So that does not mean that's the case. And the reason why I'm pinpointing these highs and lows is that does not mean that's the case for each of those individuals. Some people are going up, some people are going down. Again, we are only looking at what the home is listed for. All of these, for the most part, either sold or under contract. So these guys here that are sold, and then next week, as some of these under contracts one become sold, by the end of the month, typically an average sale will take about 30 days. So by the end of the month, all of our initial market information should be under contract, or at least a good chunk of it, and we can really dial in and see what things look like. So there's our averages there. We're gonna go ahead and do our voodoo magic here, copy our formula over, and we were at 440. So on this side, we're going up. It's interesting how the average price per square foot for single family homes that are smaller went down, but the overall average went up, and then the complete opposite for the ones over. Not by a huge amount, but but it's there, it's still change. So we'll go 446, 33. Okay, now we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna jump back over here to our single family homes, which are these ones here. We have our square footage, which is this one. I'm gonna go ahead and just delete this stuff off since we've duplicated it over. Excuse me. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and filter by our square footage. All right, we're gonna pull homes. Our breaking point is at 4,000. So right here is gonna be our break. We'll add a space. All good. Okay, add a row below. Got it. Okay, so let's pull our square footage equals the average of these. Oh, it already did it for me. 203. What does that do for us? It is, are we on the big or small side? Small side. It is going down 207 a square foot to 203. Guys, this is only 1 week between last week and this. Things are always changing. When someone's thinking like, I'm looking to buy, I'm looking to sell, like, what's your strategy? Like, what would you do? What is your plan going to look like different from someone else's? It is different all the time. The way I would sell a house now in January is completely different than how I would have sold that exact same house 3 months ago. Why? Because the market was different 3 months ago than it is now. So knowing the market intimately to the point of like your area is very important. If you're using an outside agent, they are not spending as much time diving into these numbers, breaking them down, knowing them inside and outside. I know every single listing that is listed in this community. I talk with the agents that are listing them, and it's a consistent ongoing conversation. So this is important to know. Even though these are micro changes, it's still important because it's happening. It's going down, it's going up, and it's going to affect you. All right, so we're at 203 here. Let's just go ahead and stick with our voodoo magic on the same line. This has gone up to 570. I'm dyslexic, guys. Just read between what I'm actually typing versus saying, because it's never going to come out the same. But as you hear it enough, you'll be like, oh, just you'll learn the patterns, and then you'll just be able to interpret on the fly. All right, let's look at our larger homes. Let's go ahead and take our average And just as a reminder, if I'm doing this live, I would not be using this data. I would be doing off of sold if possible. With this one that's sold, I would use the numbers of what it sold for versus list. With this one who's under contract, I would call that listing and figure out exactly what it's actually under contract for. But for now, this is just going to give us a general idea, right? So we're at 196. Where is that number? It's going down. And when I say it's going down, we have three homes that we're statistically pulling from, excuse me. So it doesn't take much to impact this, but at the same time, we're at a price point to we're averaging, and we're all between, 980, high 9 to 1.2 million. So this number here, I'm assuming is going to go up. Let's see what it looks like. Well, we're exactly the same. How does that work? Where are we at? 196. My numbers are screwy. What did I do? Who's smarter than me? Talk to me. Let's make sure I'm getting this right. Average of those numbers. Maybe I typed it in wrong last time. Who knows? But that number is the same. This number here is 196 for our cost per square foot. And then also keep in mind, this home here has a W, which means it's also been withdrawn from the market. So is this number accurate or not? I don't know. I'd consider it as an outlier. But this is going to give us a general idea of our home values. You leaving? Okay, love you. Thanks, Mom. Last but not least, we are in our final home stretch, and I have 3 minutes before my kid gets out of school. So we are going to book it. All right, I'm going to take this lovely screen over here that everyone would like to see, and I'm pulling it to my other screen because I need to add back the sold data. Give me a second. Column display, and we are going to put sold. Got it. Okay, so on here, this is only looking at homes that have sold. So with all of the other information I've been pulling, I've been doing under contract, sold, backup status, withdrawn, all of the things. In this one, we are only looking at what is sold, which as of right now, we have those 10 listings. So I'm going to go ahead and view those results and give you an idea of what's changed. Let's go ahead and copy this guy, and I'm going to paste it here, but over on my other screen. Sorry. All right, we got it. We're in business. Okay, so we care about, let me add my filters back. We care about nothing. So whether this was a single family house, townhouse, all the things, I'm just going to tell you in general. So if I'm looking at my sold versus what it was listed for, I'm going to grab both of those numbers, which I didn't grab. I only grabbed the list. So let me grab the sold, and I'm going to put them side by side right next to each other. Hold, please. I'm doing all sorts of dumb things over here. I did the sold date. I don't want the sold date. I want the sold price. That's the one I want. Okay. Sold price, got it. Putting it right next to our list price. I'm just building suspense intentionally to drive you insane, actually. That's really what I'm doing, just for fun. I'm just kidding. Okay, view results. We've got it. Okay, that looks better. Copy. Please hold and paste. And we are there. Delete these two. Okay, so I'm going to add a column. So I've got my list price in one column. I've got my sold price in another. And then I'm going to do some weird things. There we go. And I'm going to take my filters. They're not happy. Remove. I don't think I need to filter anything, so we're just going to take them off. I'm going to take equals what the house was listed for and subtract it from what it actually sold for, which is going to give me the differences. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros, and I have 2 negative 100s, which means it sold for $100 under what it listed for. In my mind, those are close enough to lump to be the same. So I'm gonna go ahead. Oh my gosh, guys, I'm struggling. It is super struggle over here. Undo. There we go. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and put. What is it doing that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 homes, same thing. List price. It's not quite 55, right? Because we know, that's what I'm looking for, that we are looking at not 9 homes anymore, but 10. And today is the 14th. Yes. Let's go ahead and update that. Probably should just update this in one place, but that's okay. And this is week 2. Week 2. There we go. Enter. So if we have our calculator here and we're going to take our 5 homes out of 10 is 50. There we go. I can do math. 50%. Anyone who saw me going to the calculator is probably like, oh, great. Okay, got it. At list price. Okay, looking at under, which is negative. Well, in my case, positive, because I did my math backwards. Sold for, this one sold for more, which is negative. Yep, I did it backwards. That's okay. So my negative numbers are positive. My positive numbers are negative. It's going to screw with my head. So this home sold for $4,000 under. This second one sold for $2,500 under. So both of those are going to be right here within this mark, right? Yes. I'm just going to delete the listings after I've inputted them so I don't have to compete with myself. We'll highlight them. There we go. Now they're bright red. Stay away. Okay, so we've got 2 homes here in this market. So let's go ahead and change that to 2. 2 divided by 10 is 20%. Man, that makes it easy. Oops. That makes it easy. So I've got to make something else hard. 10%. Got it. And then we've got a home that sold for $10,000 over. So that's going to hit this one. And then another one, oh, I'm going the wrong way, I'm backwards. Another one that sold for $31,000 over. So that 31 max is still in the same spot. We have 2 homes here though that have sold over that mark, which is going to put this to 20%. And then I have one last listing for you. This one sold, whoa, under. We were at $64,900 under what it was originally listed for. So I feel like that is significant to write out. So I'm going to take this number, we're going to copy it, we're going to throw it up here, and I'm going to make this a little bit fatter so it can hold it. 61,900. And that one was on market for how long? Now I'm gonna like deep dive. I gotta go pick up my kid. Where are we at? Days on market, 56 days on market. So that's a long time to be on market, and the price drop is gonna reflect that a little bit. Obviously there's more that goes into that, but this is gonna give you that general idea. So hopefully this was helpful. Thanks for sticking around. I will post all of these new stats in the comments. If you have any questions, I'm happy to run them. If you are wondering what your individual house is worth, if you're thinking about listing, if you want to buy in the area, any of the things, let me know. My cell phone number directly to my phone is 385-208-2710. I'll put it in the comments as well. Shoot me a text if you have any questions. Also, give me any feedback. If you have any questions, if you have anything that you want to talk about, if there's anything that I'm not showing that you want to see, let me know. If you are on your way to Mountain Point for early school pickup, I will see you soon. And I hope you guys have an awesome weekend. We'll see ya. Bye.